Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you can solve this puzzle, you are at least a 1000 plus rated player. We are continuing in our series. This is puzzle number 13. It is black to play. See if you can find the correct continuation for black. Pause the video now. As always, I want these puzzle videos to be educational and instructive. Otherwise, you could solve 102 puzzles on your own. So we're continuing with our theme of forcing moves, and this puzzle is going to feature item number 7 there on the right on our checklist, pawn promotion threat. So as the old saying goes in chess, sometimes the threat is even stronger than the actual execution, and this position is no different. So the material is completely even. Black has only one move here to have any chance. Anything else is completely dead even. So it's 4 pawns to 4 pawns on both sides. So how do we break through over here on this side of the board? So obviously the first thing you would look at is what happens if we take. Okay, so if pawn takes b3, then white can simply take back with a pawn, and it's very difficult to see how either side would make any progress. We would move our king up to e6, and our king is blockading the e5 pawn. Their king needs to babysit this guy. Their knight is blockading our d3 pawn. They're probably going to kick our knight out, and it looks like a pretty much dead drawn position. So that doesn't work. Okay, so if we go back a few moves, how else can we try to break through? Well, the only other thing that we could try is sacrificing the knight, and that actually is the correct solution to this puzzle. I have a whole entire lesson on sacrificing in the end game to promote, and I will publish that video at some point down the line in the beginner to master series. But yes, knight takes b3, brilliancy. And the problem is white cannot take either way. So if white takes with the knight, then we simply capture their knight, and one of these 2 pawns is going to promote. So the king has to come back. If the king comes back to stop the d pawn, then we can either take or we can promote here. If white takes this pawn, we play d2, and the pawn is about to promote. So that doesn't work. So once we sacrifice on b3, if white tries to take with the pawn, oh boy. Passed pawns must be pushed. And now white is completely lost. There's no way to stop both of these pawns. Black simply wants to go down and promote on the A file. This doesn't do anything. So if white wants to stop this, they have to play b4 to free up the b3 square. But we simply push a2, knight b3, and now tactics recognition, condition number 4, restricted pieces. And one type of a restricted piece is an overloaded piece. We push d2, and this guy is in trouble. It cannot stop both of the pawns. Okay, so going back to this position, after we take on b3 brilliancy, white can't take either way. White only has one move for any kind of hope. They have to bring the king back to e3. And now they're threatening to take our pawns, so the correct continuation, of course, we're going to drop the knight back to c5. So as far as I'm concerned, we can stop the line here, and you have solved the puzzle if you found this. If we're a little bit more advanced, we can take a look at a couple of more continuation lines, which are still very instructive. So white only has one move here in this position, or it's completely dead loss, -2 or worse. And that move is knight to c4 to hit the b pawn. Of course, we're simply going to push that to b5. And here, they only have one square to retreat this white knight to. If they go to d6, well, we just push b4, and we're going to crash through, and that is lights out. Going back a move, if they put the knight on d2, well, we push the king up to e6, and white's not going to be able to hold on to this pawn, or it's going to make matters worse. If they try king f4, then again, we just push b4, and we are crashing through with one of these pawns. If they try king to d4, what would you play here? You guessed it, knight b3 check again, another brilliancy. And once again, we're right back in this same spot. They can't take either way for the same things, same reasons we just talked about a little earlier. So whatever they do from this point, they're completely lost. If they take the pawn or go back to e3, since they can't take this, say they take the pawn, then we just exchange everything off the board. And obviously with this extra pawn, that's going to be completely winning. Same thing is if they go to e3, then it's the same exact thing. Doesn't really matter. It's going to end up transposing to basically the same thing. So if we go all the way back, instead, so they can't go here, they can't go here. The correct move is to go to b2 with the knight. And we're still going to push our king up to e6. And once again, they are stuck. So let's say in this position, the only thing that white can try to maintain any kind of hope is king to d4. And in this position, what would you play here as black? You guessed it, knight b3 check. We are bound and determined to give up this knight at all cost with the pawn promotion threat. So here, again, they can't take that, or that is going to be game over immediately. So if they take on d3, we actually have a couple of moves. We can still sack the knight. We can take on e5. They can never take this. Or, of course, we can play the obvious fork here and pick up the pawn. This will be completely winning as well. All right, guys, so I'll go ahead and stop it here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hey, thanks for watching. If you think these videos are helpful and you would like me to continue posting them, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.